Microsoft issued an AI its own employee account. It has an email, calendar, OneDrive folder, and an official place in the org chart. Until now, deploying an AI agent meant building an assistive tool accessed through a chat interface, like Microsoft 365 Copilot. Now, organizations can deploy autopilot agents, autonomous software entities operating under their own user identities. The interface abandons the standard prompt and response loop. Users assign the agent a goal, and the software executes the process continuously, checking in over time to request approvals or flag issues. These systems no longer sit idle in a collapsible sidebar waiting for a question. They run in the background of active workflows, participating in shared group spaces. Granting an AI persistent access shifts its role. It moves from being an application you open to a coworker you coordinate with. Take the Workstream Manager, a reference implementation of an autopilot agent designed specifically to live inside a Microsoft Teams group chat. It sits in the channel, analyzing the shared conversation history, reading chat messages, checking pull requests, and scanning meeting transcripts to track ongoing tasks and deadlines. When someone promises to handle a task, the agent identifies the commitment. It marks the message with a pushpin emoji, logging the owner and the deadline, without anyone directly asking it to. Because it tracks these small details across sessions, a manager can type a single command and generate a digested summary of every open action item grouped by owner. The agent holds the exact same context as the rest of the group. By managing routine coordination, it allows the human team members to stay current on progress without interrupting each other to ask for status updates. Integrating a persistent software worker into a chat channel introduces a massive vulnerability if you ignore how that software authenticates. For an agent to summarize a private SharePoint site, it needs access to proprietary enterprise data. If it accesses that data anonymously or piggybacks on a human's credentials, it destroys any system of accountability. Imagine a system process deleting a critical financial model. If it originates from an anonymous central node, security cannot trace the action. Entra Agent ID solves this. The system attaches a unique cryptographic signature to the node, tracking the origin of every action. Assigning a distinct mathematical identity creates an audit trail. It makes the software strictly accountable for the data it reads and the files it modifies. Managing these identities at scale requires a dedicated governance layer, which Microsoft calls Agent 365. This central registry applies zero-trust security principles directly to AI. Every agent deployed must have a designated human sponsor and a recorded owner who provides oversight. The system monitors the agent's behavior continuously. Conditional access policies track sign-in records and look for anomalies, like a sudden spike in access requests. If an agent attempts to pull data from an unfamiliar resource, the system intervenes. The dynamic shield flags the behavior and automatically rejects the connection. These controls extend to the software's lifespan. Automated lifecycle workflows track when a project concludes or an agent-specific task is complete. By linking Agent 365 with Entra ID, administrators ensure an agent's access is revoked immediately when it is no longer needed, closing off potential pathways for internal data breaches. The architecture of a corporate team now includes a mixed environment. Human employees and software nodes occupy the same directories. They operate in parallel, collaborating over the same Teams channels, shared files, and SharePoint sites. This shared environment comes with an inherent risk. The persistent access that makes an agent useful also defines the blast radius of overly broad permissions. A silent threat emerges when projects finish, but the software remains active. These stale agent accounts retain access to sensitive systems long after human attention has moved on. If an attacker compromises those credentials, they can navigate the network under the guise of an authorized worker, especially if the human lines of responsibility have blurred. The operational cost of an autonomous workforce is vigilance. Organizations must continuously and rigorously maintain strict permission boundaries for every node on the network. The current development cycle focuses less on reading comprehension and text generation and more on infrastructure. Software is now treated as a standalone, accountable actor within the enterprise environment. Integrating autonomous AI into a business requires establishing rigorous organizational oversight. The future of enterprise software relies on collaboration, and that collaboration requires a secure foundation of managed identities.